Pablo Z says, hey James, I have a 5-month-old Rojo stud. One testicle is descended, the other is in his stomach, about an inch away from his sac. He's a beautiful stud. Is it genetic? Should I not use him? Yeah, probably. This sucks, but I mean, you know, the fact of the matter is there is a pretty large genetic content or disposition to this undescended testicle. So, you know, the problem, you know, he can get dogs pregnant. He's still got a testicle that can produce. But there's two problems you've got with an undescended testicle. One is there's a much greater incidence of testicular cancer in those dogs. And the second one is it tends to be a hereditary component. It's likely that he will throw puppies that also have undescended or one undescended testy. So the correct way of treatment is unfortunately to spay him, but give him another month. See whether it'll pop out. Maybe it will, maybe you get lucky. Toes Cook says, good evening. Thanks for everything. My French Bulldog is 20 months old, just had her first cycle. Took her to the vet. Day 6, she was a 0.4. I just left the vet right now, which is day 9. She's a 0.8. I'm talking about $95 a test. I'm figuring testing another 7 days from now. What do you suggest? Thanks in advance. You're worried about running out of money at the bank, aren't you? Well, so what I would do is this. A dog that is sub 1, I figure that let's say the next day it's a 1, then it's a 2. These are the days. Next day it's a 1, next day it's 2, then it's a 3, then it's a 4, then it's a 5. Then it's ovulation, it's 2 days away, 7 days out from breeding. So I would test that dog in another 5 days or sooner if the blood color started to go pink. And that will save you spine testing. The other thing that you can do is go buy one of our Fine Care Onefo progesterone machines, and then you can do tests for about $9 a piece. Got to spend about $2,700 to get there, but by the time you've done 27 of these tests, you've bought the machine and you're saving from there onwards. So I swear by the machines. Anne, Tammy, do you have a merle male in this litter by chance? And do you fly them to California? So the answer is no, unfortunately. Well, now, Chanel is whelping a litter for Cody, our son, and there are merles in that, and there's a merle male in that. So the answer is yes. And yes, we fly puppies to all over the United States with our nanny. So yes. So call Cody 806-664-0173. That puppy is now about a week old. We don't have the DNA yet, but there are merle. There's a merle boy that is a fluffy carrier, and he's small. So yes. Mr. B, it's a good question here. And my video is running. I thought it wasn't running there for a moment. I thought I was screwing up. How's it going, James and Tammy? Mr. B asks, is it best to keep your studs away from your females, or is it okay them to be around? I heard that that's how some studs pass from constantly trying to mate and heart rate being up. Okay, so that's a good question, and it's got a multi-part answer to it. So the first thing is that you know, if you let multiple look, we don't have very many females, but we've got a lot of studs, and they get out for exercise twice a day, but we don't put them out for exercise with a female around, because there can be too much competition, and you can have a scuffle, and you can get a dog bred that you didn't want to get bred. So the answer is that typically when we're letting males out, we let males out that we know, younger dogs with younger dogs, older dogs with older dogs, dogs that we know. Some dogs just aren't crazy about each other. Those guys don't go out together. But we typically don't leave a female out there with them unless we're trying to entice a male who's young to become a stud dog. And then that might be exactly what we do. So you will have the best luck with a stud dog that you introduce a female when you're ready, and you make that a production, i.e. it's time to start, the dog's 8 months old and you want to start seeing whether he can do anything for you and start his career up. I mean, he's not going to do much in 8 months, but practice makes perfect, right? So the idea behind this is that you put him in front of a female and let him run around with the female and let him learn some manners. That you don't pest the female when the female says, don't bugger me, don't mess with me. That he learns how to behave, he learns how to be a polite gentleman. So that's one of the things you're trying to get done here. The second thing is that you want to get him to perform for you. So you want to make this a pleasurable experience. You want to make this something that's fun for him. So every time that we put a female and male together for the first, few goes at this, for the first 10 times that we're getting him online, we are making it a pleasurable experience, making it safe for him, making it safe for the female, making sure that he's behaving correctly. And regardless of whether he succeeds in producing any semen or any ejaculate at all, he gets a treat, and he's made a big fuss of. So my recommendation to you is to keep your males and females separate, introduce them when you're ready for them to mate, making it a learning experience. And what you'll also find is that a dog that's not producing very well will do much, much better if he has not been around any females for a couple of days. So those of you who have a stud dog that you want to use and you haven't been using him very much, then but you leave him running around with the females, don't expect him to produce a fantastic collection from you in that scenario. You'd be much better off that he's completely separated from the females and is introduced for a female when you're ready for him to collect, and you will have a much better chance. And by the way, a female that's in heat will do even better in terms of a collection. So be aware of that. And this part about saying his heart rate being up. Look, you can absolutely on a hot day get a dog that will actually shag itself out and be exhausted by attempting to breed a dog that he can't get, because Frenchies typically don't do very well at doing natural breedings. One of the reasons that we don't do natural breedings is it can exhaust the dog. The second one is that you can carry transmitted diseases like canine herpesvirus and brucellosis. And the third thing is that when you want to collect from the dog, he may just spill it on the ground because he can't get it done. So, yep. Jeff Morgan asks, is there a specific time or better time of day to do PG testing? A friend of mine told me it's best doing the AM. We have your heated whelping system and incubator. Well, thank you. They both work great on our first day. Well, wonderful. I'm glad that's worked happy. No, I don't think it makes a lick of difference. Look, I mean, this idea that progesterone levels are going to be different, certainly things like temperature. If you're trying to time, for instance, a C-section on temperature, I think the best time to do it is first thing in the morning. Let the dog go out and poop and then come in and then take his temperature. But I think as far as PG is concerned, no, I don't think PG level is going to vary by time of day at all. So I don't think it makes a lick of difference. Trent M, you always get new stuff on here. I like it. I don't like the problem for this person, but I like the question. Have you ever heard of micro eye or no eye at all in any of your pups over the years? Do you know what would cause this to happen? The rest of them is just fine, just one has the issue. So I haven't experienced it myself. Well, not exactly true. I have had a puppy that had an infection of an eye that developed when it was about 5 days old. And when that eye opened up, there was basically a destroyed eyeball in there, which is unusual because normally when you see that problem, the whole thing is rectified the moment the eye's opened up and the whole thing clears up. Didn't in that puppy. And that puppy then ended up going to a home as a pet, as a $0 dog, right? Find a good home for it. I have seen dogs that have got one small eye. And I have heard of dogs that have had an eye that was not present. So the question is, what caused this to happen? There could be a number of causes here, and I'm talking on top of my head here, so I'm just going to give you what I think. It may be completely wrong. So, but what are the causes? Well, it could be an environmental thing. So, for instance, the dog that we had that had the destroyed eye, that was an environmental thing. That was an infection that caused it. That environmental problems was probably caused by something that happened, at birth. That puppy was born a little bit late, and there was some poop in the sac, so maybe some of that got inside the dog and caused an infection. Who knows? But anyway, that was environmental. If you have a dog that's got one small eye and one big eye, or no eye at all, then it's either you got unlucky or it's a genetic problem. If you got unlucky, that dog will go on to have a normal life and probably produce puppies that don't have that problem. If it's genetic, then you have the possibility that it could pass that on to its puppies. However, I suspect that it would be what's called a double recessive problem. And the likelihood, if you bred to a different stud, that it would not come up again. So my advice to you would be to breed this dog again to a different stud, and I'm going to guess that the problem goes away. One other thing that you could be doing would be to give folic acid. I recommend that everybody gives 5 milligrams of folic acid every day for a puppy, a dog that's been bred till it whelps. And why would you do that? Because it can help with birth defects, and this would be considered as a birth defect. So maybe that might have helped the situation. Who knows? It wouldn't hurt, so that's what I do. Last one here. Loyal for Life Kennels. How long after draining a hematoma? We're talking about a blood clot in an ear that then made that whole ear swelled up, and so they drained it, and now they have hopefully wrapped that ear up around a cylinder to stop the ear from filling back up with blood. So the question is, how long will it take? Well, I can tell you this. If you don't wrap the ear up, you just drain the blood, it'll fill back up within an hour, and you've completely wasted your time. I see lots and lots of vets doing this, and then the next thing you know, the dog's ended up with a cauliflower. It never gets sorted out. The thing finally dries up, and you've got this all wonky, crumpled up ear, and it looks like hell. Dog's still fine, just cosmetic looks like crap. What you got to do is, I would leave that on there for as long as the puppy will leave it on there. The other puppies and the puppy will get that thing off there, and when it does, put it back on again, especially if you see it start filling up. How long will it take? A couple of days? A week? Maybe? So there's no set answer for this, but the answer is you've got to keep taping it up. The moment it comes off, if you're seeing any blood fill up after, immediately see any blood filling back up again, get that thing back on and compressed again. There we go. That's for this one. Bye, buddy. Thanks for watching the video. I hope you got some good information out of it. I hope you subscribe to our channel. Brought to you by mybreedersupply.com. We've been in business for over 8 years. We manufacture products to help you have successful breedings, successful whelps, and successful puppies. We've introduced a new subscription service, canineconnect.com. It's a 1-year subscription for 129 bucks, and for that you get 2-day free shipping on all of your orders. You get 5% off every order that you place, and you get direct access to our support line to help you with products that you buy from us and general questions about breeding your dogs. It's really a great deal. I hope you subscribe to that. Now the disclaimer. I'm not a licensed veterinarian. I'm not a professional health giver, but I am a guy that's been breeding dogs successfully for over 20 years. Any information you get from my videos is purely at your own risk. If you have any doubts about any of this stuff, you should definitely seek the help of a licensed professional. Again, thanks for watching. Have fun with your doggies. Bye, buddy.